Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. Giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect out there listening, learning, and or teaching. Shalom to you all. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 6, Salakia, chapter 26, and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. Okay, and y'all know that those of you that have been watching my channel, yesterday I made a video with some precepts in Sirach chapter 25. All right, and I was talking about how there's a precept in the scriptures that talks about how he that getteth a wife getteth a possession. All right, let's get that real quick. This is Sirach 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Right, your woman is supposed to be your servant. And, when you come home, you should feel relaxed being with your woman. You should feel like that's your sanctuary, or I don't really like using this word, but your safe space, right? Because you got a lot of people talking about safe spaces or whatever, but the point is, it's a place where you feel comfortable, at ease. Your blood pressure should go down. If you were wearing a heart monitor when you came to your lovely virtuous wife at the house, your heart rate should go down, okay? Because you should be relaxed, less stress, less cortisol going through your body, okay? So just wanted to bring that point up and connect it with this. It's blessed, Sirach 26 and 1, again, it says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. And why will his days be double? All right, because he's not all stressed out, man. Stress is one of the number one killers. Not Salakia. Stress is one of the greatest killers of men in the modern age. All right, is being overstressed. All right, and we know that these modern FeFAILS, the majority of them stress their men out much more than a single man. Okay, to the point where it's becoming cool and popular to be single now as men. All right, you can hear all these manosphere channels talking about follow your purpose, forget about women. Okay, but let's go into this word virtuous. It says having or showing high moral standards, right? And we know in order to have moral standards, it takes faith, right? And women have no faith. A lot of you women have no faith. You have no fear of the Lord. Okay, you don't care about morals. You just care about how you feel inside. All about your emotions and instant gratification. All right, following trends, being a groupie. That's what you women want to do. You women don't want to, be unique in a positive way. All right, being a virtuous woman. All right, what are virtuous women called in the modern day? They're called pick-me's. You see, they invented a slur for women who act right. Okay, this is Sirach 26 and verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, right? A man will really enjoy his wife and have pleasure in her if she is virtuous, man, if she has morals, and she knows what her role is as a woman, cooking, cleaning, right? She should, taking care of your husband should be a full-time job, right? But what do women do? They want to go work a real job and pay taxes to the government and destroy her family, right? The woman has no business in the workforce, man. And the only reason now that the man and the woman both have to work is because, these devils that are ruling, these Edomites, man, right? Which that's why they set it up that way. So they didn't set it up that way so a household could have two incomes and somehow make more money. No, They set it up so that now household has to have two incomes to survive. You see? All right, but let's read this again, not to get too off track. It says, a virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Right, again, that pillar of rest. Okay, this is what a modern woman should do. All right, how do you know you're a good woman? You make your husband comfortable. All right, he's noticeably comfortable around you. He's noticeably more relaxed, more carefree, less stressed out. Right, you're like the nurse. Right, your husband is a warrior. He goes out there, he gets shot at, cut up, bruised up, and you're supposed to patch him up and get him ready to go back and fight some more. But what you women do is your husband come home with bullet wounds and scars and cuts, and you go in there and you start punching his bruises and be like, you ain't good enough, you know? That's what you modern women do. And that's why ain't nobody trying to deal with y'all women, man. That's where a lot of these dudes, you know, you can watch these news articles and stories. You know, women are getting beat up, women are getting raped, and people, what do? They just take out their smartphone, record it, or they just ignore it. They don't want to get involved with you women, man. All right, you Eves, okay? Because you Eves are wicked as hell, man. And you know what? All these women in general are wicked as hell, man. Even the damn heathen women are wicked, man. All right? But yeah, let's go ahead and let's go to verse 7 real quick. It says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. Right. You know, having a wife who's evil is a yoke shaken to and fro. Right. A yoke is, you know, those giant iron bars, iron, almost like an iron ring that a slave would wear around their neck. That's the best way I could describe. Here, let me look it up. Because, you know, I know what it is, but I want y'all to know what it is. Yeah, that's a yoke for animals, but there was a yoke for slaves. You know? And of course they would try to hide it. Yeah, Esau ain't gonna hide it. There it is. He ain't gonna be able to hide it. There it is, man. That's the yoke that our people had to wear. Now y'all understand why we hate Esau, Edom, a so-called white man. He did this to all of our people. And to this day, the last one's hired and the first one's fired, baby. It ain't nothing changed. All right? They already built their damn empire, man. All right, but here we are, still serving captivity. All right, but that's a side note. Okay, that's what a yoke is. This is, and the funny thing is, this is why a lot of men, when you ask them, are you married, are you single? You know, and if they not married, or if they are married, they'll say, yeah, I'm cuffed. You know, as a little joke. Like, yeah, he's handcuffed to his wife. You know, he's tied up. He can't do nothing. He can't go out. He can't have fun. He can't talk to other women. All right? He got to go home and he got to pump himself up and prep himself before he walks into his house. Because once he leaves the plantation, all right, it's another plantation at the house. And his wife is the slave master. Because these devils, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right, set these fucking hoes up with so much power and so much pride and so much, you know, basically power to where, you know, these Eves know they could get away with damn near anything, man. All right, this is why, you know, as a masculine alpha male man, which all you hopeful elect men are, all right, we are the true alpha males, okay? It disgusts me and those of us of the hopeful elect, it disgusts you to have to, you know, subject yourself, all right? We already know we're serving captivity to Esau, and we know that's the punishment of our iniquity, all right? But then to have to be under a damn woman, right? Hey, that's why a lot of us men, all right, we choose to be single. and just pop women and that's it. We pop them and that's it, man. Or, you know, if you have it to where you could deal with multiple women and they don't, you know, really give a shit too much, or, you know, hey, I guess some brothers have it figured out, whatever. All right, but you know, hey, these relationships, man, it's a trap. Okay, so tread carefully, man. Like Paul said, you will have trouble in the flesh, man. All right, but don't never let no woman disrespect you, man. All right, you could always leave if a woman disrespects you. All right, kick her ass to the curb. Verse 8, a drunken woman and a gadder abroad, right? What is gadding abroad? Let's get this word. We're just going to get the word gad. To gad means to go around from one place to another in the pursuit of pleasure or entertainment. And I say it all the time. When a woman is gadding abroad, what is she doing? She's probably doing what they call girls' night out. You get a bunch of single women, or, you know, even some married women who go out with these single women. And what do? They go from bar to bar, club to club, all right, drinking, partying, talking to different dudes, trying to get talked at. They always get dressed up to the nines, a pound of makeup. They got their cumbrellas on. They got their cleavage showing. They got their butt crack, you know, all fucking pants tight as hell, about to burst. That's how they do, all right? Because they want attention, man. And they drunk. A drunken woman and a gatter abroad causeth what? Great anger, all right? Because, hey, if you're a man worth his salt, you ain't going to want your woman doing that, you know? That's going to piss you off. Don't be talking about, oh, I understand, honey. Fuck that bullshit, man, all right? And I'm saying that for men that might not have a lot of experience, or, you know, men that are new, you know? And you're watching this video, all right? You got to hold these women to a high standard, man. If they can't meet the standard, which a lot of them can't, to hell with them. It says that she will not cover her own shame. Right. They going to come in drunk, throwing up in your toilet, talking about, oh, don't worry, baby. I didn't sleep with any dudes. I was just hanging out with the girls. You know what she's doing. All right, verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. And that's why I brought this picture out. And, you know, I brought it out yesterday with the preset Sirach 25. And it was in Sirach 25. I can't remember the one. Oh, here we go. Sirach 25:17. It says, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Right? You know, and that's not really going into whoredom too much. This is wickedness in general. All right? But it still applies because, you know, whoredom is a form of wickedness. And all these whorish women, you can see the evil in their eyes, man. They not just hoes. You know, they're evil. Okay? And this is a face of evil right here. Proud look, cumbrellas. You know, she got them eyelids, smug look in her face. All right, all dressed up. You know, thinking she's top shit. Okay, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Right, and they also call that in the world. They call it the 1,000 cock stare. All right. Let's keep going. Verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Right, and this is why these women are failures, because their fathers were not allowed to give discipline to their daughters. Okay, the fathers were taught that men are evil and the woman has to beware of men. Meanwhile, she's not bringing shit to the table, and she deserves the world, right? You know, you should teach your girls to be careful with men, but at the same time, all right, you gotta keep them down to earth. You can't have these women proud too. You see, everything's a balance, and the scriptures tell you how to raise your daughter, man. All right, the scriptures don't miss. if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straightly. Right. You catch your daughter having an episode like that, going out and acting like a little hoe. Hey, lock that bitch up in the house and never let her leave until she, she's a grown woman. Now here in Babylon, it's gonna be hard to do that, cause like I said, the women got the law behind them, and y'all know how that goes. Okay, but it says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself with overmuch liberty. Right, young woman, she should be in the house doing chores. All right, learning how to be useful to her future husband. That's the best thing you could do for a woman, for your daughter, right? And to teach her, femininity, all right? Or teach her at least, whatever. Teach her how to do chores. Just keep her off the streets. Verse 11, watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against thee. Impudent. What is impudent? Not showing due respect for another person. Impertinent, right. And you got a lot of these young women like that. They talk over adults. They think they know everything. They don't know shit. All right, and young men too. All right, but it's especially bad for women, because these women, that's how Esau destroyed the family unit, was through the woman, right? You could go back to the garden. The serpent came to Eve first, right? Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. Right? Don't be surprised that your daughter, didn't listen to shit you say and went the whole opposite direction you told her to. Hey, that's in their nature to be wicked like that, man. All right, again, Eve in the garden, man. The Lord gave us everything, and a woman, she just had to listen to the serpent. You see? Sirach 26:12. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, right? A thirsty traveler, you're traveling, you're thirsty, you find a fountain, you get some water, you open your mouth. Why? Because you want H2O, you want water. That's how these women are, all right? That's how your daughter would be if you give her too much freedom. She'll open her mouth as a thirsty traveler. And drink of every water near her, right? And you know what that water represents. I don't have to get graphic. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be drinking from multiple fountains, man. By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow, right? She gonna be taking multiple D's from multiple different dudes. You see? That's what's gonna happen. Not what might happen. That's what's gonna happen if you give her too much liberty. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Right. Again, a good wife, she's gonna make her husband live a long life. The husband lives a healthy, strong life. Guess what? He'll be able to bless and protect his wife. It's a perfect, great relationship. Everybody wins. Okay? So yeah, if you got daughters, that's how you ought to raise them, man. All right? And this whole chapter is a great chapter. I just wanted to get a few verses and go into it, something quick. All right? Sirach 25 and Sirach 26 goes into what a righteous woman is and what a wicked woman is. Okay? It's very important read for everybody, men and women of Israel. Yasharala, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we are the true children of Israel. All right, we're the ones who the Lord has given us this wisdom and the ability to break it down. Okay. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakorash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.